The Bitcoin mining network is approaching 300 exahash. It's the most powerful computer network in the world. It's the most powerful crypto network in the world. And when people ask what backs Bitcoin, the answer is a crypto hashing network that would require 3.5 Earths worth of energy to 50% attack with conventional cloud computing from the best GPU companies in the world. So we've reached a point where it is embraced, it is not hacked, it is not going to be hacked, it is backed.
Technology company MicroStrategy Executive Chairman Michael Saylor shared in a Twitter Spaces event last week that the company plans to release Bitcoin Lightning network-powered software and solutions in 2023. He said that MicroStrategy is exploring, among other things, solutions that support enterprise marketing and a cybersecurity solution for corporate websites. He also recently tweeted that Bitcoin is digital gold and hard money. Saylor points out that the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has skyrocketed to very high levels since 2018, and with such exposure and adoption, the blockchain has faced so many challenges and attacks from critics and naysayers, but up till now, none has been able to refute the claim of Bitcoin as the #1 cryptocurrency. He also revised the events surrounding China's ban on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and the wide range of controversies that came with that. So many claimed it was a Ponzi scheme, and some said it paved way for money laundering. In late September 2021, the People's Bank of China, PBOC, banned all cryptocurrency transactions. The PBOC cited the role of cryptocurrencies in facilitating financial crime, as well as posing a growing risk to China's financial system owing to their highly speculative nature. However, one other possible reason behind the cryptocurrency ban is an attempt to combat capital flight from China. According to the Chainalysis blockchain data platform, more than $50 billion worth of cryptocurrency left East Asian accounts in areas outside the region between 2019 and 2020. As China has an outsized presence in East Asian cryptocurrency exchanges, Chainalysis staff believe that much of this net outflow of cryptocurrency was capital flight from China. Although Chainalysis does not have a definitive figure for how much capital fled China between 2019 and 2020, they estimate that it could be as high as $50 billion. Saylor continued with the fact that even amidst the rumors and facade people tried to use to downplay the authenticity of Bitcoin, it has even garnered more publicity and exposure, and now regulators are coming in massively and even defending the coin on bigger platforms. He mentioned the case of the two large regulators, SEC and CFTC. We will now continue with the video, where we would listen to Michael Saylor as he explains with conclusive evidence and facts the reason why Bitcoin is the best thing to happen to cryptocurrency and why it is not going away anytime soon. He also mentions the FTX debacle and other failed exchanges as stepping stones to the realization of the superiority of Bitcoin.
The asset class is seasoned. When in 2020, there were a lot of questions. There were questions about whether or not this was going to be embraced by regulators, whether this would be banned. A lot of people, there are a lot of legitimate leaders in the United States who said this is going to be banned. They would either say it's going to be banned because it's a Ponzi, they were the deniers, or they said this is going to be banned. Jamie Dimon said it's just too good to be true, so it'll be banned. So there were the people that didn't understand it, and there were the people that understood it but thought it was too good, and so the government would take it away. And then when the China crackdown took place, everybody said, we see China banned it, and so that proves that it's probably going to get taken away. And here we are in 2022, and what you have is a fight between the chair of the SEC and the chair of the CFTC to see who gets to regulate it or who gets to endorse it. And what's become very clear is you've had the head of the CFTC say this is a commodity. You've had the chair of the SEC say this is a commodity. You have had the Secretary of the Treasury, Janet Yellen, recite the legend of Satoshi in a speech at American University, right? Satoshi, a person or persons figured out how to transfer value without an intermediary. We now see all the regulators in the Western world have embraced this as an asset class. We've had the chair of the SEC educate the entire working group, the entire cabinet, and most of Congress as the definition of a commodity. An asset without an issuer, over and over and over again. So the last 24 months have brought mainstream adoption and legitimacy to Bitcoin, and it wasn't there in the middle of 2020. In the middle of 2018 and 2017, we didn't know whether the forks were going to work or if you could fork Bitcoin, and we hadn't settled the basic principle that this was immutable and it should be power to the people and it should not be hijacked by the exchanges or hijacked by everybody that has a decent idea to fix it or improve it. But I think, Len has said this, and I've said it too. I think the outcome of the block size wars was really critical to the success of Bitcoin as the world's greatest monetary asset. So if you were around during the block size wars, and if you fought on the right side of the block size wars, then you're really the OG. You guys should give yourself a hand. There's no way that I would be here, that we would be here, that we would have an avalanche of institutional adoption without the sacrifices that were made during the block size wars and without the principled fight. And it was a very principled fight that makes the difference. I think the meltdown of Terra and the meltdown of Luna and the meltdown of the Wildcat exchanges, the meltdown of FTT, the meltdown of FTX, all of those has put the fragility and the defect in architecture of the crypto industry front and center. The regulators have been rousted out of bed, to go on television to answer questions. Congress has been lit up. You're going to see every agency thinking about this. You're seeing mainstream media writing about this. The Wall Street Journal has got story after story after story after story after story. Unlike writing stories that, crypto is like Bitcoin except more energy efficient. That was the story a while ago. The stories now are, and you saw it when I was on CNBC, I said, BTC is not FTT. And every one of the anchors nodded and said, yeah, you got that right. It's pretty obvious why. So the meltdown of the crypto ecosystem is educating an entire generation of mainstream journalists, mainstream investors, mainstream regulators and policymakers, and they understand that now they have to do something, and the regulation that's going to come is going to stop the scams, it's going to stop the self-dealing, it's going to provide a framework by which people start to understand the difference between an ethical, economically sound, technically sound asset and a fair, equitable, principled approach versus an unethical, uneconomically sound, untechnically sound, unregistered security. So I think that that's a big part of what's going on right now.
Saylor attributed so much of Bitcoin's success to its simplicity and transparency. He notes that you can copy Bitcoin as much as possible because it has an obvious and transparent roadmap, but you won't be able to imitate Bitcoin even in years to come. Bitcoin is nearing a 300x hash rate and uses so much energy equivalent to 3 times Earth energy, according to Saylor, and yet hasn't even reached its highest potential. He furthermore took pride in the fact that Bitcoin cannot be hacked and is increasingly getting backed and accepted by so many people at the top. What do you think of Michael Saylor's optimistic approach to Bitcoin? Do you think Bitcoin will ever fail? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Also ensure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.